UNLV researchers out with new findings tonight after studying the pay disparity between men and women right here in Nevada.
Yeah, I talked to an author of the study about the findings and how the university hopes to improve them. Plus, one Las Vegan shares her personal mission to effect change in her own right.
We're Vegas locals. We take pride in service, yet far too long get overlooked.
Jenkins wanted to be your mayor, but this lawyer and self-proclaimed champion of women who once led the Nevada Equal Rights Commission as an administrator now owns her own business.
I can kind of do things my way and speak to my experiences and from the lens as a woman, a strong Black woman who's been in Nevada for over a decade, who's seen instances of discrimination but also found solutions.
Bridging the gender pay gap is part of her agenda. Recent numbers from Pew Research Center shows women earned an average of 85% of what men earned in 2024, an improvement from 2023 when women earned 81% of what men made. When it comes to racial and ethnic groups, the gap is even wider, with Black women earning 70% as much as white men and Hispanic women earning 65% as much. And men are more likely than women to be a boss or top manager at work, 28% versus 21%.
Very simple. I do the same job. I have the same skills. I get paid the same.
This issue also catching the attention of academia. Researchers at UNLV studied pay disparity among men and women in Nevada and noticed a concerning trend in one area.
We asked a question about the demographics of the top highest paid wage earners in every organization, and it was largely men.
However, study author Becky Harris says the pay for women is on par with men when they first enter the workforce.
But there's a thing called the broken rung, and our data from our survey reinforced the broken rung, which is that when it's time for that very first supervisory position, that is where women tend to lag.
Harris says there are plenty of competent, educated, and talented women in the workforce, but they may not know how to advocate for themselves. UNLV hopes to change that.
We have now developed programming specifically for women and vulnerable populations around how to navigate workplaces.
Is there some concern, though, that kind of puts the onus on the very people who are being discriminated against?
I mean, obviously, we're looking at culture changes.
And so is Jenkins.
It's not rocket science. It's equity, it's fairness.
So she's determined to shatter the glass ceiling one client at a time.
Inclusivity and diversity of thought is what can really take us to the next level.
So I did some more digging outside of the UNLV study to find some hard numbers that illustrate any pay disparities in our state. Well, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, in 2023, the women to men earnings ratio was 85.3%, higher than the national study that same year from the Pew Research Center, which I mentioned, but in line with its national findings this year, which I also mentioned earlier as well. So it's really important to note that there are laws in place right now to protect women from pay disparity. But I also spoke to an employment attorney who tells me that it's really hard to prove, and a lot of women won't bother suing, fearing that they could be blackballed. To answer and learn more about this, UNLV's programs, Becky Harris mentioned in our package about how they're helping women better advocate for themselves in the workplace. And we have all of that information for you to peruse on our website, news3lv.com.